Did Atlanteans build Puma Punku? To answer this question, modern-age mythology surrounding Puma Punku's precise stonework and its origin has evolved, which, in general, involves an ancient civilization from a continent known as Atlantis. Since there is no codified version of mythology, the story can only be summarized. Generally, the mythology goes that around 11,500 years ago, the continent of Atlantis was populated by an advanced civilization. The Greek philosopher Plato, in his works Timaeus and Critias, argued that Atlantis lay beyond the Pillars of Hercules as a great island in the sea. The island was described as being greater in size than Libya and Asia together and was powerful enough to attack Europe and Asia. At one point in the distant past, civilization was wiped out by a great earthquake that turned the sea into an impassable muddy bank. From this collapsed civilization, it is believed that the survivors traveled across the globe, where they resettled and lived. From these remnants of Atlantis arose Puma Punku's precise stonework, which is found near Tiwanaku in Bolivia. Puma Punku, a mystery that may be greater than the pyramids. Puma Punku was the name of a large temple complex located near Tiwanaku in Bolivia and is part of a larger archaeological site known as Tiwanaku. The temple's origin is a mystery for the archaeologists, and the name means Door of the Puma. Located 45 miles west of the modern-day city of La Paz, Puma Punku is situated in the still-thriving city of Tiwanaku, high upon a desert plateau of the Andes Mountains, at an altitude of more than 12,000 feet. Tiwanaku is significant in Inca traditions, the place where it was once believed the world was created. The most intriguing thing about Puma Punku is the stonework. Puma Punku was a terraced earthen mound originally faced with megalithic blocks, each weighing several tens of tons. The red sandstone and andesite stones were cut in such a precise way that they fit perfectly into and lock with each other without using mortar. The technical finesse and precision displayed in these stone blocks are astounding. Not even a razor blade can slide between the rocks. Some of these blocks are finished to machine quality, and the holes are drilled to perfection. This is supposed to have been achieved by a civilization that had no writing system and was ignorant of the existence of the wheel. Something doesn't add up. An article from Wikipedia describes the fantastic engineering involved in the temple's construction. In assembling the walls of Puma Punku, each stone was finely cut to interlock with the surrounding stones, and the blocks fit together like a puzzle, forming load-bearing joints without the use of mortar. One common engineering technique involves cutting the top of the lower stone at a certain angle and placing another stone on top of it, which was cut at the same angle. The precision with which these angles have been utilized to create flush joints is indicative of a highly sophisticated knowledge of stone cutting and a thorough understanding of descriptive geometry. Many of the joints are so precise that not even a razor blade will fit between the stones. Much of the masonry is characterized by accurately cut rectilinear blocks of such uniformity that they could be interchanged for one another while maintaining a level surface and even joints. The blocks were so precisely cut as to suggest the possibility of prefabrication and mass production, technologies far in advance of the Tiwanaku's Inca successors hundreds of years later. The stones are of mammoth proportion. The largest of these blocks is 25.6 feet long, 17 feet wide, and 3.5 feet thick and is estimated to weigh 131 metric tons. Due to their size, the method by which they were transported to Puma Punku has been another topic of interest since the temple's discovery. Chemical analysis reveals the red sandstone blocks were transported up a steep incline from a quarry near Lake Titicaca, roughly 10 kilometers away. The smaller andesite blocks that were used for stone facing and carvings came from quarries within the Copacabana Peninsula, about 90 kilometers away from across Lake Titicaca. Based on circumstantial evidence, it can be argued that Puma Punku was never built by the Tiwanaku but by a civilization that was more advanced. Perhaps the carbon dating results were wrong due to contamination of the samples, or that Puma Punku was built by another civilization that came across the ocean, built the complex, and left. Some believe that Puma Punku couldn't have been built without help from alien beings. The complex is in complete ruins today, with huge blocks of granite lying around on top of each other. The site appears to have been destroyed by an earthquake, perhaps accompanied by a tidal wave from Lake Titicaca. Were the monuments beyond the capability of human beings? Gizmodo notes that Pumapunku was an advanced Andean architectural achievement. Spanish conquistadors and others who visited the site during the 16th and 17th centuries described it as a wondrous, though unfinished, building with gateways and windows carved from single blocks. Pumapunku displayed a level of craftsmanship that was largely unparalleled in the pre-Columbian New World, and it's often considered the architectural peak of Andean lithic technology prior to the arrival of the Europeans. Even today, the stonework of the temple is considered so precise that ancient alien enthusiasts claim it was made by lasers and other extraterrestrial technologies. David Childress, the author of Lost Cities and Ancient Mysteries of South America, noted that the massive chunks of granite were seemingly scattered around like children's toy blocks as if a giant cataclysm laid waste to Pumapunku in one fell swoop. Archaeologists are baffled by what Pumapunku was and how it looked, said Childress. The purpose of the enormous structures has yet to be explained. One fact that is undeniable, however, is that the entire region and its people were important in the ancient world of South America. Theirs was the dominant culture of the Lake Titicaca Basin, with an empire covering vast amounts of area in present-day Bolivia, Peru, and Chile. Just after World War II, Austrian archaeologist Arthur Poznański had a hypothesis that was far ahead of his time. His writings about the Pumapunku stones in Tiwanaku have been kept alive by Graham Hancock and other writers who defer to Poznański's dating of the site to support their theories. Poznański, who worked at the site for decades, estimated that Pumapunku was far older than academics surmised. By examining the ruins and their relationship to the stars, the archaeologist dated the ruins to be an astounding 15,000 years old. As with so many areas featuring crafted structures of such weight and size, some of which are more than 20 feet tall, and tens of thousands of pounds, skeptics of academic conclusions begin with the same questions. How were these structures built, and who really built them? And the question remains, how could primitive people have created smooth and flawless right angles, and circular holes in Pumapunku stones with crude hammers and chisels? Even today, the fashioning of these megaliths can only be accomplished with advanced diamond tip saws and drill bits. Were there Pumapunku ancient aliens whose technology remains ignored? The Pumapunku mystery persists because no scientist to date has given a probable explanation for the buildings and how they were constructed. So, maybe Pumapunku's precise stonework originate from Atlantis? Atlantis, an island nation mentioned in Plato's dialogues Timaeus and Critias, has been an object of fascination among Western philosophers and historians for nearly 2,400 years. Plato, 424 to 328 BC, describes it as a powerful and advanced kingdom that sank, in a night and a day, into the ocean around 9600 BC. Since the 19th century, there has been renewed interest in linking Plato's Atlantis to historical locations. Maybe Pumapunku's precise stonework is the result of an Atlantean civilization that lived thousands of years ago and sent people to colonies in the Americas. Are these structures physical evidence of a common building structure that the Atlanteans kept with them as they traveled the world? What are your thoughts? Please leave a comment below the video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.